It was about 3 in the morning, and my mom comes in screaming that there's a fire. We just ran down the stairs as fast as we could. Because of that moment, we experienced homelessness. When we first went, it had bed bugs, roaches, and rats. I felt ashamed to say that I lived in the shelter system. It just felt like the world was ending at that moment. After 8 months, the shelter told us that they have found an apartment in the Bronx that we can be living in. When I first moved to the Bronx, it was different. It was very like, oh, I'm the oddball, you know.
I met Jairus during her sophomore year. Within a week, I could tell that she had like remarkable computational skills. And I would just looked at her, I was just like, Jairus, what are you doing in this class? And she kind of explained to me how freshman year was a really hard transition and I really didn't give it my all. But I'm gonna be the top of your class and I'm sure of it. She was so reflective, but also so determined.
As soon as I got accepted to beat the odds, I was so happy. And the first day, just walking into the office, it was as if it was my second home. When I'm older, I want to be able to do real estate and business and kind of just help out the homeless. 1 in every 10 students has experienced homelessness, and it's just something we as a country shouldn't allow. Not many people in my family went to college. I want to go to college because I know it's the start of where I want to be.
I'm from West Africa, and the country that I'm from is Burkina Faso. My parents wanted us to come over here for like a better education and for like a better future. When I first came here, I was 13 years old. You think if you come over here, everything will be easier, but it was different because the way the system works, how people of color are being treated, things like this. It's hard to be in the school where you're the only Muslim. When I didn't know English and I had my accent, like when I would speak, like other people would make fun of me. Economic-wise, it's kind of tight. My dad and my mom make less money, and most of the money they make, it has to go towards the rent, or they have to like provide for other people in Africa. Being a part of Beat the Odds, in the beginning, I wasn't really comfortable with people, but then after time passed, I got comfortable with people. I feel like I'm home. At my school, being with Miss McDermott, she's like the coolest teacher. You could go to her and talk to her.
I had Rashida. My first year that I started working here, she was always like a rock for me, for the class, and a leader that they look up to.
I turned 18 in September, so I felt like it was like the perfect age to get a job, and like I'm getting old, so I can't really be depending on my parents. But right now, I'm saving for college. I'm looking at pre-med. I want to be an OBGYN because I feel like I want kids to have like a good start, which is something I didn't have.
I just can't wait to see what she's gonna do in the future. I really think that Rashida is gonna have an impact on people. She's just an amazing young woman.
When I was younger, I didn't have like a father figure. I didn't have any contact with my father until I was like 7. Money growing up was always a problem. We didn't have a lot. When we came from Florida, we actually had to live in a shelter. Depression was also a big thing, like that was always present. And I just grew up like feeling sad and I never really knew why. And I was losing self-confidence, like I had none. So that's when I looked into theater programs outside of my school. And it was like a good combination because it's like therapy and theater where you get to improv and play games. And if you're having a bad day, you can talk to them about it. And they really like help you get out of your funk.
So I met Valerie when she enrolled in Unity in 6th grade. She's one of the top students here academically. She is perhaps her strongest self in a debate or a very public setting. But if you were to ask her anything about her skill level, her intellect, her grades, she'd be very humble about it.
I was in 10th grade when I found out about BTOs. When I got the call, I actually cried right after I got off the phone with her. And I told my mom, even on the phone, you can hear that we were actually really excited. Like my mom was in the background like saying like, you got it? And I was like, yeah, I did, I got it. I'm working really hard at school, and even with all the mental health stuff, I'm really like being resilient, and I'm applying to go to college, and I really want to do that. I love music, I love theater, but I've always been interested in psychology. I want to use my psychology degree to help teenagers. Whatever I do, I want to have an education while also doing what I love.
Valerie can do whatever she wants. She's gonna make it happen, whatever that might be.
I come from Jamaica, and I came 2 years after my mom came, and I've been here for 3 years now. The first year, we had to move shelters about 4 times. I remember there was this one shelter where, like, you had to live with people who shouted all the time, had police coming over, like, all the time. And then 2 years ago, I had to move in with my stepfather. The toughest thing I had to do is go through verbal abuse by my stepfather because I couldn't really do anything because he was an adult. I felt like I was trapped in a way.
I first met Naomi last year. Given everything that Naomi has been through and her living situation right now, it's interesting how I would never know exactly like what she's going home to. It doesn't surprise me. However, it does elevate my respect for her for continuously coming to school. She's always here, you know, and she's always pushing the conversation.
It was a lot of times where I really wanted to like run away. I just felt like everyone just didn't want me here. But I started listening to music more.
When I'm writing lyrics, I mainly focus on like how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling sad, I use that as a way to write a song about that. So if anyone is going through that, they could relate.
It's all over now, it's all over. The time has arrived to start all over. The chaos is here, it's getting closer. Last goodbye.
I want to go to college and major in music. That's really the thing I'm passionate about.
She has a way of like walking with peace, if that makes sense. Like wherever she goes, she has this like very peaceful energy around her.
At Beat the Odds, we not only do workshops about like important aspects in life, but we also help empower each other. Being able to like be with other people who can relate to some of your struggles, that really helps us remind ourselves that we don't have to deal with all of this alone.
My mom made some choices which weren't the right choices as a mom, and it created an ACS case. And when I was 7, I went to go live with my father. I wasn't always the easiest child to deal with. I was a very angry child. In my eyes, it's like I've just been taken away from my mom. But I have a very open heart, and I can't hold hate in my heart. According to my parents, my cleft lip was seen throughout the sonogram. I've had a total of 2 or 3 surgeries. My situation could be a lot worse. The doctor said I would have so many different types of development issues. I would have to be placed in special ed. I wasn't gonna be as smart as everybody else. But I'm here, so I'm okay, and I'm great.
Mariday was a freshman in high school, and her guidance counselor brought her down and said, please, please, I need you to help this one. She's very smart. I see a lot of potential in her, but she's getting into a lot of trouble. When I met Mariday, she was quite a ball of energy. She had been through a lot of transitions. There was a lot of chaos, but she's a very caring and very perceptive young woman. She's extremely strong-willed. I mean, if she has something inside, she will not stop until she gets it.
I started with Beat the Odds program as a sophomore, and now I'm a Beat the Odds ambassador. I didn't think I could win something like that. Growing up in school, I didn't really get certificates of achievement or anything like that. I'm gaining control of my own life. and I'm very independent now. I work at Capital One. I love working at Capital One. I applied and interviewed as a junior, and I got into it.
So to get the Capital One internship is very competitive. She was one of about 200 students in her school to compete.
I can't wait to graduate. I want to be a surgeon. I want to be a plastic surgeon. I want to help kids with cleft lips like me. That's where a lot of my insecurities come from. If I could alleviate whatever struggles I went through for another child, I'm definitely going to do that.
This is a continuous process for her, but she is determined that she's gonna do it.
I have support, and I love having support. That's what Beat the Odds to me is, a family, and I love every single one of them. There's light, and I'm gonna follow this light, even if I'm in a room full of darkness. I'm gonna have a better future. I'm gonna strive for this better future.